I can't do it. We'll do it live. Okay. We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. And thing sucks.
All
hey
right.
everyone, welcome to the Fantasy Football Upside, and we are doing it live, everybody.
Yes.
Thank you for stopping by.
It's football day,
live
Justin.
Stream.
Football day.
Football day. Big football day here.
Big football day. Yeah.
Hey, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Wanted to hit right off the bat, I like to do this quick little active list for everybody. Some people that were somewhat questionable coming into this week. We got Allen Robinson is active. Same with Joe Mixon, Terry McLaurin, my guy Ty.
I mean,
T.Y.'s
well,
back,
Ty's back, but let's face facts. Allen Robinson is active, but he's active. That's what that really means, because as long as Justin Fields is on the field, Allen Robinson might as well not be. So
yeah. DeAndre Swift, Tyreek Hill, TJ Hawkinson. Daniel Penny's Daniel Jones is active, as well as Gibson. So no real shockers there. An active list isn't really that crazy. We got Darius Slayton is still out with the hamstring injury. Sammy Watkins, I believe that's the same. Tyson Williams getting the inactive.
Ooh.
Talk about going from top running back down the board. I think Le'Veon Bell is active for this game.
Oh, geez. That's rough.
We'll throw up there. And Curtis Samuel is also inactive.
Yep.
Curtis Samuel, stay away from him as much as you can. Soft tissue injury.
Generally lately. Yeah. So that's rough. All right. Well, hey, here we are. If you guys got any questions, feel free to go ahead and hit that subscribe button. That way you're able to drop a question into the chat. Let's see here. We got a few people hanging around already. Just a couple hanger-ons, just a couple. Yeah. There you go. Cool. All right. So, FYI, if you aren't aware, I hope you were aware that Miami and Jacksonville, those guys are playing. I'm gonna turn off the background music. I think it's chopping us a little bit there. I don't think it's actually dropping any frames yet, but I think it was chopping the stream a little bit there. So clean it up. Yeah, we'll just go sans sound. As you can see, I'm just hanging out here in the fun house. There we go, the fun house, all over the place. It's a roadshow, like we've talked about. It's a roadshow.
I'm hanging out with my guys at Dunder Mifflin today.
Yeah, there you go. All right, so let's talk about some football, actually, though.
Let's do it.
We got some questions that we've had thrown in here. Why don't you go ahead and run through them a little bit here?
Yeah, absolutely. So this one is from a guy that's been following us for quite a while now.
Yeah.
He had a question.
We haven't screwed up yet, apparently.
But his question was, start Adam Thielen or Tyler Boyd at PPR receiver.
You know what? I didn't pull up the matchups here. I don't have that. Let me pull up the matchups. Why don't you go ahead if you've got it? I mean, my initial inclination would be Thielen, just because
of the name.
Yeah, just the name value there. I know that though Cincinnati should have a decent week here. Burrow, I'm looking for him to do pretty well this week too. I think he's going to have a pretty good one. He's going into a little bit easier stretch for him, and so I think that the wide receivers are going to flourish a little bit. But you're looking at a guy who's maybe 2A, 2B, like wide receiver 2A or wide receiver 2B on that team. I don't think that he actually is a guy who could, fit a little higher for you. Whereas Adam Thielen has the potential to be a wide receiver 1 on the week, any given week. Like he's quite capable of breaking free and getting out there any team that they're facing. He is not exactly matchup proof because I think Kirk Cousins limits his upside quite a bit. But I do like Thielen a whole lot. I mean, he's got that sneaky speed,
And deceptively fast.
The
thing is, I mean, it obviously wasn't that deceptive because recently he's had a rough patch here. The first week was amazing, and then he finished as a top 30 wide receiver the next 2 weeks. But the last 2 weeks have been pretty rough. Going against the Carolina Panthers, the Minnesota Vikings are. It's not terrible. It's not great. It's not terrible.
Yeah.
And then Tyler Boyd is going against Detroit, so we know the possibility there.
Yeah.
And, Tyler Boyd's actually done okay. Last week was a little bit of a bust, but in terms of PPR, He's had a couple top 36 finishes. He had a top 10 just 2 weeks ago. Against Detroit, I mean, this would be really tough for me to say you need to sit Adam Thielen for Tyler Boyd.
Yeah.
But it is kind of shocking that the lack of usage that Adam Thielen's been getting the last couple weeks. So if this was the time to do it, then you can try it out. But
try it out, see how it feels.
Just try it out, see how it feels.
Yeah. So it's unfortunate.
It is. And so the same guy say another question. He's like, I'm in an 18 team now 13 team PPR guillotine league, which I haven't done one of those, Kyle. That might be something. We might need to write that one down.
Yeah, guillotines are fun.
Yeah, but he goes, I need 3 of the 4. Amon-Ra St. Brown, James Washington, Adam Humphries, or Rashard Higgins. Also, Duvernay and Khalif Raymond are on waivers.
That's tough.
Talk about that wasn't ATT. Like this is
3 out of the 4, man. Oh gosh,
I know.
What kind of guillotine is this? I would say you got to roll with Amon-Ra St. Brown, maybe. Just because there is upside there coming out of the slot. He's got he's a little bit more reliable, I think, especially with Goff. So he's got some upside there. He could end up finding the end zone. James Washington is a big concern for me. Juju's out right now, but you still have 2 wide receivers ahead of him. So that's another question. Then you got Adam Humphries and Rashard Higgins. I like Higgins a lot, but I don't know that he's in Cleveland, right? Still, am I correct? Yeah, I don't know that Baker likes him that much. That's the problem. OBJ, they're still trying to make him a thing. That's a concern. So I don't know. I think for me, the only one I really like out of this group is Amon-Ra St. Brown. I guess you roll the dice with James Washington and just hope that on sheer volume of passes in this offense, maybe.
Yeah.
But
I like the top 3 that he already said. Yeah, the Amon-Ra St. Brown, he's getting some pretty consistent looks, mainly because of the fact that most of the Detroit wide receivers are all hurt. James Washington is going to kind of fill in for Juju, but I don't think he's going to get all the snaps that Juju got.
Yeah.
And then Adam Humphries actually, I think, is a sneaky good play here. Washington football team, they are injured as well. A few pass catchers are down in the Curtis Samuel, as well as Diami Brown. I don't think he's playing either with a knee issue. So Adam Humphries could be a deceptively good flex PPR.
Yeah.
But for this one, just for this question right here, those top 3 right there, and Rashard Higgins, I just can't trust him either because Baker doesn't seem to trust him either, and maybe not the greatest of weather this week in Cleveland as well.
Yeah.
Yep. Alrighty. So next one we got Tyler Boyd. This is from Zachary S. Wolf. Pick one flex full PPR: Tyler Boyd or Jacoby Myers or Kadarius Toney.
Is Tyler Boyd the guy, the flavor of the week this week? Who was it last week that we had?
Michael Pittman was one of the ones last few weeks and everything like that. We get a lot of the same questions here or there. Or
a lot of the same guy being focused on.
A lot of the same guy, yes. Yeah. Not the same question per se. What do you think on this one so far?
Let me see here. I pulled up the wrong sheet. I'm a mess this morning. All right, so we've got what Kadarius Toney is going against. Let's see here. I can't find the Giants for some reason. Oh gosh.
LA Rams. Giants versus the Rams. Myers is going against the Dallas Cowboys, and once again Boyd is going against Detroit.
I would go with Boyd there. I think maybe Myers is worth the upside, just because he is being treated as the one. But I think that New England's gonna. You know what? Probably I would go with. I think in the end, I would go with Myers because I think that New England is going to be playing from behind and they're going to have to throw the ball. They're going to have to actually step outside of their comfort zone. They're banged up in the backfield too. So I think that probably your best option there is going to be Jacoby Myers. I mean, I think that's where I would go.
I'm right there with you. You have the safer options in the Tyler Boyd or Jacoby Myers, and then you have just still the unknown in Kadarius Toney. I mean, he blew up and was crazy last week, but he also was hurt at the end of the game. So it's like, and it going against the LA Rams. Yeah. That's not a defense I want to go against. No, that is for sure. So
especially because I think their game is going to be to put as much pressure on the backfield as possible. And so I don't think that Danny Dimes is going to do much as far as being able to get passes down the field a little bit. So it'll be all short stuff. Maybe Tony's pretty good at making moves, but beyond that, I don't know.
I would go Jacoby Myers in this one because he is due for a touchdown. I think he has the most targets and catches without a touchdown. It's due to happen.
Yeah.
It is bound. It is
bound to happen.
Alrighty. Yep. So next one we have from Bedward Drippingham at Young Boy NBA Ben. Yeah. But full PPR running back 2 decision here. Darrell Williams going against the Washington football team. Devontae Booker going against the LA Rams. What you thinking on this one?
Oh gosh, I think I would. Oh man, this is a tough. You're talking about
PPR as well.
Yeah, it's PPR. I think I would actually go with Devontae Booker here. I think he's taking over that backfield a lot more. I like his matchup a little better. The Rams are riding their I guess just the history of how they've been on defense a little more than Washington is. I think Washington is a much more solid defense presently than the Rams are. The Rams. They're going to try to take away the one strength that the Broncos have, which is the running game. But I think that Devontae Booker.
You mean Giants?
I'm sorry. Yeah. Sorry.
Okay.
I think I would just go with Devontae Booker there. I like the upside there a lot better. Darrell Williams. I don't know if I trust what's happening there in Kansas City as far as the running backs right now. So I don't know. And that has a lot more to do with Andy Reid and what they've been doing than anything else. So
I got you. No, I'm going to go with Darrell Williams in this one, but I get what you're saying because, the Kansas City Chiefs, great offense, but they never really rely on the running back. And we don't know what it's going to look like. I mean, Washington football team defense hasn't been the greatest this year, but one thing they are good at is defending against the run.
Yeah.
So you do have to honor that. And Devontae Booker, they're going to get him the ball in multiple different ways because that's what he did last week. Whenever he filled in for Saquon, he had a touchdown on the ground. He had one receiving as well. So he's going to get a good workload. But I would actually still lean towards the Darrell Williams just because New York Giants football, you know what I mean? I just that's just it's tough for me to say, okay, you know what? Let's trust another one.
Yeah, I mean, you've been burned by too many running back ones lately to really trust it. Yeah.
Yeah, don't get me started there. Alrighty, up next from Richard Harvey at Coach H1015 is a half-point PPR, need one flex. DJ Moore going against the Minnesota Vikings or Darrell Henderson going against the Giants that we just talked about.
The flex spot here. You're at a half
that's a
PPR.
good flex decision
this is
to
a
have
good.
right here.
This is a really good one. I like this. I like the upside of Henderson a lot more. I think. Minnesota's is a really bad defense right now. I think, but so are the Giants, and I think that Henderson they're going to end up being in a situation where they're ahead, and they're going to try to salt the clock away. And so I would go with Henderson here. I think, we like in the flex, we tend to lean a little bit more running back. Even in half point or full PPR, we still tend to lean running back just because you're looking at that consistent floor. We aren't looking at the flex as a home run hit for us necessarily. We're just trying to play ceiling with upside, so.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I'm actually going to lean towards Darrell Henderson on this one as well, which after the first couple of weeks of the season, I would not have said that because what DJ Moore and Sam Darnold were doing on the field. But, DJ Moore's kind of come back down to earth just a little bit. And that coincides with them trying to get Robbie Anderson more involved. Yeah. And he's been very ineffective with those. But Darrell Henderson, when active, when he's playing, you have to start him. I just think he gets it done on the ground. And then also they do look for him receiving wise. He only had one catch last week, but that previous week he had 6 targets, and the previous week to that he had 5 targets. So they definitely get him involved in a multitude of ways, and I don't think Sony Michel is really going to scare anybody. So when Darrell Henderson is active and playing, he's going to get the workload. Yep.
Before we move on, hey, drop some comments down below, guys. Let us know if you're getting any sort of like weird video chopping or anything like that. If the stream's running clean, say that too. Otherwise, let us know your questions. We're here to help. Just throw that hand up and say, "Little help. Little help now." That's right. We're here. We're going to help you out. We're going to help you with that last minute tinkering, get your lineup set perfectly. Little tinker. All right. So let's move on here. We got another question here coming off of Twitter. This one's SBNY at SBNY, right? Am I on the right one? Yes. We've got full PPR running back choice, Alex Collins or Javonte Williams. And he's got a question about wide receiver as well, A-Rob or Rondale Moore. That's a really sad state of affairs where we're asking a question about A-Rob or Rondale Moore. And we already talked about that a little bit briefly, but what would you do with Alex Collins or Javonte Williams there?
This actually hits home because I have both of these guys on my roster in our league.
Oh, yeah?
Well, I'm going to start both of them, but that's because I have to.
Yeah, your team has been ravaged. So, probably, honestly, don't start either one of these guys. Justin just told you that both these guys are going to get hurt because he's starting both of them in the first quarter, no less. Like,
yeah. They
so
won't give me any
run,
points
screaming.
Then. Yeah. No, actually, I would go with Javonte Williams, but I think both of these are a pretty good play. I mean, Alex Collins is going to get that heavy workload. DJ Dallas does come in a little bit, and even Travis Homer are guys to kind of give Alex Collins a breather. But heck, the guy had like 12 carries, I think, in the first half. So they're really going to ride that. And then they're going to have to rely on the run a lot more. But that means I think you're going to see a lot more 8-men in the box for Seattle going against Pittsburgh. So that's not a good defense to be going against. So that's why Javonte Williams, we'll say this again and again. Melvin Gordon is banged up going into this game. Javonte Williams is looking better and better with the opportunities that he's been given. I think Javonte Williams is the play here. Yeah,
I think that's where you go with it as well. As far as A-Rob versus Rondale Moore, do you want to go with that one first? We've got Rondale Moore is going up against Cleveland, and then A-Rob is on the Bears and going against the Packers, right? So Justin Fields is also, it's like a double whammy. It's two defenses against him.
Well, another double whammy is the fact that the Arizona Cardinals going against the Cleveland Browns there's some 30-mile gusts wind right now, and also quarterback Kyler Murray is not fully healthy right now. He has a shoulder injury. It was somewhat questionable going into this week. And I still almost have to go with the proof right now with Allen Robinson. I think they have to force feed him the ball because I think we don't know what that backfield is going to look like for Chicago with, the big Khalil Herbert is now the running back. So
but I think that he was the real backup instead of Damian Williams, actually. I mean, he got like 18 touches coming in relief of Montgomery.
Yeah, so he had 2 more carries than Damian Williams had.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I mean, he looked solid, but the Packers, when you really actually break down the defensive numbers, what they're doing against the run is actually pretty decent. They're actually solid. Where they're hurting is in the secondary, right? They've got, they're pulling guys off of the street to put them back there, and they're trading for guys to get guys back there because they're just so banged up at the cornerback position. Now they're sliding safeties over for some help and stuff, but that compromises what they're doing, the type of pass rush that they're going to have, that sort of stuff. So I think that they're going to just try to force Fields into being a pure passer and then provide a lot of zone schemes and stuff on the back end. So I think A-Rob finds room there, and you're talking about Rondale Moore being like the second, possibly third option sometimes in a bad weather situation and a banged up QB. I got to go with A-Rob. I think that they're going to try to force the ball to him at some point. They're going to have to because I don't see Fields getting free a lot today. So I would go with A-Rob there as well. All right.
We got a question into the chat here.
Hey, there you go.
It says second question. I don't know which one was. We didn't see the first one come through, Steve. So question here is Aaron Rodgers or Joe Burrow. Yeah, throw in that first question that you had in there. Aaron Rodgers or Joe Burrow. So once again,
let's
Green Bay is going against Chicago. Bengals are going against Detroit.
I got to go with. It's hard to say. Don't go with Rodgers, but I got to go with Burrow actually this week here. He's just the matchup is too. It's too tasty. It's just too sweet,
too juicy.
Right? Too juicy to not go with him. I think you have to go with Burrow there. Watch Rodgers throw for like 5 touchdowns in the first quarter, and then they sit
because it's revenge. Going against the Bears.
There's also a lot of bulletin board material this week for the Bears too, right? Because he said this is the one team he would never go and play for, is the Bears. So maybe they step it up a little bit and clamp down. But other than Devontae Adams, he's not throwing to anybody really. So I would go with Burrow here, just on the basis of you don't really know what Rodgers is going to do. You kind of do, but he's been mediocre in the past against the Bears. I think you'd be lucky to get 2-3 touchdowns out of him, honestly.
Okay. Yeah, I'm actually going to lean towards Joe Burrow as well. This is a question that Steve has asked me a couple times this week so far. Long time listener, first time chatter. Nice.
Yeah.
But, I don't think he's going to have to throw that much, Joe Burrow, because for one, Detroit is just that bad against the run. So they're going to be running all over him, and Joe Mixon is healthy enough to be active for this game. But I still think they're going to throw it down around that red zone as well. He has
got Uzomah, and you've also got passing work to Mixon.
Yeah, you got T. Higgins, you got Jamar Chase, you got Tyler Boyd. There's a lot of options for him not to throw it. So I would lean towards the Joe Burrow, and it could be one of those, even though the Bears are the Bears right now, I feel like they always play the Packers pretty well. Am I right in that, where they
they always do. Yeah, I mean, it's always a knockdown, drag-out fight. I mean, it is the black and blue division for a reason. I was just laughing because my brother-in-law just sent me a picture. He's a Bears fan, right? And I, being a Packers fan, he's always talking smack, but not necessarily this week or this season, because he's wearing our Zero RB shirt in honor of the fact that the Bears have no running backs this week.
That's pretty good. That really hits home. That's for sure. Yeah,
that hurts.
That's whenever we record, I've been wearing that one a lot, and that is really ringing true in my team.
I wear it in honor of my team too. I mean, I didn't draft Zero RB, but it's been Zero RB mostly. Now, thankfully, I hit on a few of my wide receiver picks. But all right, we got another question from Steve here. We've got a flex pick. I'm not sure of the league structure or whatever. Let's just assume it's standard
here.
PPR. Okay, we've got flex pick. We've got Zach Moss, Alex Collins, or the Hawkinson, the Hawk strap. Let's see here. I think I would probably go. I mean, Moss has got an interesting matchup this week, and they've been using him a lot more.
A lot more since that healthy and active.
Yeah, they kind of have shifted the focus of what they're doing in that backfield. It's still not the focus of that offense, so there is that downside slightly. But man, Hawkinson is really hard to not choose here, in my opinion. He is the sole focus of this offense as far as what really works in it. I know that people love DeAndre Swift. I'm not a huge fan, but in the passing game, there's nobody else.
Few weeks.
Yeah. So I would. For me, it's between Moss and Hawkinson. I would probably lean Hawkinson, even though I like what Moss has been doing a lot. But is it reliable? I don't know. What Hawkinson's doing is reliable, and again, we go for reliable picks in the flex usually. So I'm going to go with Hawkinson. So
I got you. I'm going to be devil's advocate here. I'm actually going to go with Zach Moss.
Okay.
There is not a whole lot of pass catchers in this Detroit offense that are still healthy enough. So I get what you're saying with that. But once again, we're talking about the flex, Kyle. We're going to go back on what we usually say on, putting your running back in there. You want something with a decent floor, and Zach Moss is getting enough of the opportunity in Buffalo. I mean, just last week he had 15 opportunities. Week before that, 15 opportunities. Week before that, 16 opportunities. So that is something that, and he's been able to get it done with those opportunities, even without scoring as many touchdowns as he did when he first came, first time he played this year in week 2.
Yeah.
But against Tennessee, whose defense has been disastrous, I think this could be a high-scoring game, and that is good for both because Zach Moss is out there as well as Devin Singletary in the passing game, so they kind of just split series. Give me Zach Moss going against the Tennessee Titans. Alex Collins, I would love to put you in there, but going against Pittsburgh, that's just not. You don't know what that offense is going to be like for Seattle this year.
Yeah.
Or this week.
Yep. All right, let's grab one off
the entire year.
Yeah, sure. Let's grab a question off of Twitter here. We've got Pete Comp at Pete Comp 23, and he asks how far OBJ has fallen. OBJ or Darnell Mooney? Gosh, that is a terrible comparison as far as what. I mean, we're talking about a wide receiver 2 in a really bad passing offense versus the wide receiver 1 in a pass for or run first offense. Here is what I will say: Nick Chubb is out this week. So I'm going with OBJ because they're going to have to find a way to move the ball. And though we like Kareem Hunt as far as football goes, I would say that he's not going to be able to get it done just by himself. Chubb is a game changer. And so I would go with OBJ here. I don't like... Look, Darnell Mooney doesn't present any real upside. You're looking at a guy who could sneak into a wide receiver 3, maybe if he finds the end zone. Well, how likely is that? I think that's pretty unlikely, actually. So I would go with OBJ on the sheer fact that maybe he can snag 70-plus yards for you and find the end zone somehow. So
yeah,
that's where I'm at.
I mean, since Darnell Mooney's big blow up in week 4, 125 yards receiving, I think that was the same amount total that he's had in the other games. So it's something that cannot be relied upon.
Yeah, don't talk about total.
Don't talk about total.
Don't talk about total.
That's a callback.
Yeah.
But Odell Beckham Jr., they're gonna have to throw it a little bit. Like you said, I would assume with Nick Chubb being out. So yeah, give me a little OBJ action, and hopefully we get a good game out of him.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been bad receiving whenever a lot of your highlights are now becoming run blocking highlights for OBJ. I saw a couple of those from last week. I was like, hey, that's a great block, but I mean, we're talking about OBJ. We don't want to see him out blocking. He needs to be catching touchdowns. So.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So another one from Twitter from Hunter Hullen at Hullen97. Need a flex starter 0.5 PPR. We got Emmanuel Sanders going against the Tennessee Titans, Devontae Booker going against the LA Rams, Alex Collins going against Pittsburgh, and Devin Singletary at Tennessee. These looks like Devontae Booker and Alex Collins are going to be the main guys that we're going to be talking about today.
Yeah, it seems they're the guys, they're the special ones.
Yeah. What are you feeling on this one?
This is tough. I think Singletary's out of the question for me here. Okay. I don't think he's getting the volume. Moss is starting to take over that backfield. I do like in a flex. I do like that backfield, but I don't necessarily prefer him. For me here, if we're talking about just one guy, it's got to be Sanders, I guess. He's solidified himself as a high volume guy in that offense, and he's getting the work. So I would go with Sanders just on that potential volume. I mean, the guy could get 10 passes, 10 catches, 11 passes, 10 catches kind of thing, and be solid. I don't like Alex Collins just because we're talking about what is it? It's either Geno Smith or he gets pulled, at the end of the second quarter or first quarter because he's terrible. And then you've got Jake Luton, who just got, just graduated off the practice squad for them. And then Devontae Booker, I did mention I liked him in this week, but that was in that situation. This situation, I'm going with Emmanuel Sanders out of these options. It's not an enviable question there, Hunter. Hopefully it works out for you, buddy. What would you go with there?
I'm leaning towards Emmanuel Sanders as well. We talked about how reliable this guy is. When he's on the field, he's going to catch the ball if it's somewhere in the general vicinity of him.
He makes a lot of QBs look pretty good, and this one he doesn't have to make look good. He's good on his own. Yeah,
absolutely. So that's where I'm going with this one. There's not much else to talk about, really.
No,
I like Emmanuel Sanders. That's been a great find for the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah,
it's smart. I mean, no John Brown, bring in Emmanuel Sanders, and you've upgraded.
Yeah, I think that is an upgrade. John Brown right now, I think, is just trying to get on a team off the street. Didn't he just sign? He had signed onto a practice squad and then got called up. He is in Vegas now?
Nope.
Is that where he was? No.
I think it's
it was where he was before Buffalo. Okay, yeah.
It was Broncos, yep.
That could be good for him. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of banged up wide receivers as well, but not something that's going to be on the fantasy radar anytime soon.
Nope.
Alrighty. We got another question from Twitter. We got from at Trey's Daddy JC Alvarado.
Yep.
A quick spot start for a running back, standard league. Who's it gonna be? We got Damian Harris going against the Dallas Cowboys, Alexander Madison versus Carolina, Khalil Herbert versus Green Bay.
Gosh, I'm going with. Man, this is not fun. I would go with Damian Harris, I think.
Yeah.
Green Bay's been pretty stout against the run. They've not been too bad. I think that's where I would go with this is just Damian Harris. Alexander Madison, I'm not interested in start. Like you're talking about two guys who are starting, who are going to see 10 plus carries. Alexander Madison,
yeah. Dalvin Cook is active.
And not only that,
value.
Carolina, I believe, if I am correct here, has been pretty solid in fantasy football against the. I'm just trying to pull up my chart here. Fantasy points allowed. They've been pretty solid against the running back up to this point this season, and so I would consider that trend to continue. Let me see here. Yeah, they're 26th in the league, like 26th. Worst, like meaning that they're actually like top 5, top 6 against the running back. And then Green Bay is high end, middle of the road against the running back. And then you've got Dallas. Let's see where they are. They fall middle of the road, right with Green Bay, actually. But you're talking the difference there being a guy who's a legitimate starter in Damian Harris versus a guy who's third string and getting the start against a decent defense. I think that the Green Bay Packers should perform a little bit better because they're going to be focused on trying to keep everything inside that backfield as best they can and forcing the passing game to be what beats them. It's Damian Harris for me out of those three.
I'm kind of leaning towards Damian Harris as well, just because even though we don't really know much of Damian Harris still, I mean, the guy's been in the league for a few years, but we still don't know exactly what Damian Harris is. But we know a lot more about him than we do about Khalil Herbert. I mean, this is one of those, I mean, if you want to take that shot, if you're wanting that huge potential upside, it's a Khalil Herbert. But if you're wanting a nice little rushing floor, you're looking at Damian Harris. So, and even with the rib injury, I think they're going to have to ride him quite a bit because there's nothing else really behind Damian Harris right now that good old Bill Belichick trusts in this backfield. So I would lean towards Damian.
Nothing healthy at least. Hey guys, let's do last call here on questions in the chat. We've got a couple more questions still hanging around from Twitter that we're going to get through, but we're going to close out here in the next 5 minutes or so. So if you have any last minute questions, if you needed us to apparently set your DFS lineup like has happened in the past, feel free to go ahead and drop a couple of those questions in the chat here. Remember, you got to be subscribed to chat to put a question in the chat, but we're more than happy to help. And we record regularly throughout the week and help you set up your lineups all the time. And we're more than willing to respond to questions as they come in across videos, across Twitter, all kinds of stuff. So feel free to hit us up and let's get rolling here this week so we can get everybody a win. All right. Or at least get you in the best position for one.
From Michael Yoder at Yodes Mania. Need one in full PPR. I'm without CMC, Barkley, and Carson.
Oh, desperate. Man. Yeah. Jeez.
He goes Chase Edmonds at Cleveland or Josh Jacobs at Denver.
Oh boy, I would probably go with Josh Jacobs. I don't know. Maybe they lean on Edmonds this week in Arizona. What do you think? It's really hard to predict what Josh Jacobs is going to do, what that offense is going to really look like now that old Chucky's out of town. And Denver's a really solid defense. I mean, if we're to look at what points they're allowing so far, and this is starting to make a little more, be a little bit more informative at this point because we've got enough data from the season. They're averaging like 12.6 points per week allowed to the running back, which is actually good for like top 3 in the league. So it's a really tough matchup there for Josh Jacobs. Chase Edmonds, Arizona's going against who is it, Cleveland? With Kyler Murray being banged up, I don't know what that's going to look like there, but that's another stout.
The same with Chase Edmonds, who's suffering from a shoulder injury.
Yeah, and not only that, but look, Cleveland's only allowing 13.3 points per week to the running back position, which is good for 4th in the league. So you're talking about the 4th defense, the 3rd defense against the running back, and Cleveland's much more vulnerable in the pass game to the QB, especially running QBs, guys. So I think that what you end up having to do here, I think that I would lean towards Josh Jacobs still. It's a crapshoot, though. That's a really tough one there. I'm not envious of that question at all that you have. Good luck with that one. But Jacobs is going to get a decent amount of volume opportunity.
I think it's going to be a very conservative calling game because of what's going on in the situation with the Las Vegas Raiders. So that means I think Josh Jacobs is going to get a lot of the workload. And then Chase Edmonds banged up going into this game. He's going to lose out touches to James Conner as well. So I think Josh Jacobs is the pick here. We did have a question come through, Kyle. I got a crazy question. This is from Supersize Senpai. Crazy question. Should I start Emmanuel Sanders over Keenan Allen so I can put Chuba Hubbard in my flex, or should I just run with Keenan Allen with Emmanuel Sanders in the flex?
I mean, it's flex. You could put
pretty good last week.
Yeah, I mean, it's flex. Couldn't you put Chuba Hubbard into your flex and put?
That's what he's asking, and so then it's the debate between Emmanuel Sanders or Keenan Allen. I think you got to do Keenan Allen.
Yeah, I think you go with Keenan Allen there, and I think that you run with Chuba Hubbard. I mean, he's
in
running.
The flex.
Yeah, he's the running back 1 on that team right now, and he's going to be for several weeks. Congratulations on that pickup. I would go with Keenan Allen. I mean, it's been a little rough. Correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't Mike Williams a little bit questionable this week? He's a little bit dinged up, and hey, man, Mike Williams, when he gets dinged up, he's got like a half game in him before his back gives out usually. So I would go with Keenan Allen just on the hopes that he gets the volume that shifts away based on the fact that I think they don't want to hurt Mike Williams any more than he is. That's where I would go with it.
Keenan Allen's been solid as per usual when it comes to the amount of targets that he gets. It's always what does he do with those targets? He's never been a huge, volume guy when it comes to yards. It's always been catches. So it depends on what this league is, but you're still going to start Keenan Allen. He's only got 1 touchdown on the season so far. I think that's going to change going against the Baltimore Ravens. So let's do Keenan Allen. And
if we're talking about a PPR situation, like full point, Emmanuel Sanders, I can understand the allure there in that regard, but I still would go with Keenan Allen just on the sheer upside. I think that's there. What's the matchup of there? I don't even remember. Let me see here. Chargers are going against the Giants.
Baltimore.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Chargers.
I just looked at the
Emmanuel
Rams. Sorry.
Sanders
I would. I'm still going with Keenan Allen. Yeah.
Yep. And then you put Chuba Hubbard in your flex, and
absolutely,
you're just going to hope that he does what he did last week. Chuba Hubbard, I think he went over 100 yards and looked pretty good. And he's going to be that way for at least 3 more weeks.
He'll get in the end zone there. All right, he just dropped in another question. It's not dropped in on this side here, but I've got it on the phone here. He says Allen has been good. I think I've just been, here you go, it popped up now. I think I've just been in my head because Emmanuel Sanders has been on the rise and they're playing a horrible defense this week. Yes, it's PPR, he said. Allen has been good. And it's I understand why it would be getting in your head. But you have to remember that at any point, Diggs can take over and start and get like 14 targets or 14 catches. And then Emmanuel Sanders is relegated to a guy who's going to get like 4 or 5 targets. I think Josh Allen probably has a little bit more respect for Sanders, understands that the range, like the catch radius on Sanders is great. And because anything that gets near his hands is
which is nuts
like
for a guy that's not that big.
Yeah. But it's because anything that can get near his hands, he manages to keep it in his hands for the most part. His like drop percentage over his career has got to be like historic level. It's crazy, like just low. So I know it's rough. I would still go with Keenan Allen just on the upside there. You've got a great option with Chuba Hubbard in your flex there as a great baseline. And so I would say try to hit a home run on another spot here. You're not going to hit it by, I think you're taking 2 shots for a home run if you're out there with Keenan Allen and Emmanuel Sanders. And I don't like that. I don't want to roll the dice too much. I want to set a solid baseline. And you know what? Sometimes those baseline guys, they hit a home run for you. So Keenan Allen's one of those guys who has that kind of upside. He could hit that home run, and so could Chuba Hubbard. I mean, that offense is built to run. So that's where I'm at. What would you say with that? Still? Same?
No, same, man. Absolutely the same.
All right, let's knock out a couple last quick questions here.
Yep. We got from @StartSit1. So that's a shocker. Good job getting that Twitter handle. Whom to start full PPR? We got Alex Collins, Devontae Booker, Melvin Gordon, or Javonte Williams.
There they are. There's the 3 horsemen of the apocalypse.
Brought it all back around.
Yeah, Alex Collins, Devontae Booker, Javonte Williams. We got them all together in one. There we go. It's definitely not Melvin Gordon. Dude's banged up. He's like looking like a 3-touch kind of guy at this point. So it's definitely not him for me. Plus, he gets some passing work, but it's starting to slip away there. Alex Collins, I don't like that matchup as much. I think I said earlier, Javonte Williams, I'm still going with it there. I think that's who I selected out of that group. So
I'm right there with you, Javonte Williams, going against Las Vegas Raiders. Not the greatest, defending the run. So that just speaks volumes for this game as well.
Yeah, I mean they're middle of the pack, actually, like back of the middle of the pack. So,
I think Javonte Williams is eventually going to take over this backfield. And when we say that though, it's still probably going to be like a 60-40. 65-35 kind of split, but in today's NFL, that's really good for a fantasy running back.
Yep. All right, guys, I think actually we're going to shut this down. I mean, we've got a few more people dropping in. If anybody's got a question, hit us up. We'll run for another 30 seconds here unless somebody drops in a question. Then we got to set our lineups too. we're not sitting here
Can't forget
tinkering
about
while we're
that.
doing this. Yeah, I forget. Always forget, and it's very frustrating. Hey, that game ended up closing out, and Jacksonville notched the win against Miami. Not entirely surprising.
Urban
there.
Meyer's first
first win. Had to go
Does
to
that mean he's
London to
gonna
get
stay-
it. Had to
stay
go to
in
London to get it. Yeah,
He's going to stay there and hit a couple of villas or something like that.
yeah, he's gonna.
Yeah, because he's already there.
Yeah, you might as well. I mean, go find a blonde or two, right? I mean, isn't that his game? I don't know. All right, so I don't see any more questions popping up. We've made our obligatory Urban Meyer dig. I think we're ready to go ahead and close the stream down. Thank you guys for hanging around on week 6. We're gonna try. I think we're gonna try this week. We'll see if it works out to do a live stream for our start sits on Thursday night. We like to do that while we're watching the game there, and so feel free to drop by for that. Make sure you subscribed and you've clicked the bell so you know when we go live, or you can follow us over on Twitter. We've got our handles above here at FFB_upside, and down below I've got at Kyle_the upside. Justin's at JW_the upside. Hit us up over there, follow us, and we send out a tweet telling you we are 5 minutes to live, and then also when we go live as well, and we've got the link there for you so you can follow it straight across. And so you can hit us up with your questions, comments, make fun of us, whatever it is. We're there. We're all good for it. We like to have fun. That's a little bit longer stream. We end up going about an hour plus on that usually. Although there's fewer games going on right now because of the bye week, so it should be a little bit faster. But yeah, we've hit 45 minutes here. Hopefully we've helped you out. Hopefully any last minute questions, you're able to hit us up on Twitter or whatever. We'll try to check that out. We'll see you then next time, guys. Talk to you later.
See you guys.